this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller. My special guest today from the Lancaster Parks Department, Don McDaniel.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
This is a new venture for you, right? This is.
Yes, I was retired, and opportunity came up for the recreational supervisor job at Lancaster Parks, and having some experience in sports and league management, tournament management, and other things, I threw my hat in the ring, and here I am.
You're rip roaring, ready to go.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of activities going on. I know Kickball just started the other day, but talk a little bit about all the things that people can do.
We were able to pick up Lancaster Alive had run our Kickball League in Lancaster for several years. I believe that eight plus years, had real success with it. And this year, for whatever reason, they just didn't have the ability to get the league off the ground. So we went to them and worked with them, adopted their rules, and we are now running the Adult Kickball League.
And that's at Rising Park?
At Rising Park on Thursday nights, 10 teams, about 180 adults.
Wow, 10 teams?
10 teams,
Wow.
using 3 different fields. I was out there last night for the first night of kickball, and honestly, it was just fun to watch. But a lot of players, a lot of teams, and a lot of activity, and great time to get out. And next year maybe we can get some of the viewers to come out and play.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be super. I did have one question. I told some people who were coming on today. Does the own team, if I have a team, do I pitch to my players, or does the other team?
Yeah, it's a traditional team pitching. So
Okay.
yes, we pitch to our own players, and essentially it's set up. We're all getting older. I'll speak for myself, but it's a low athletic ability type league. All abilities, I really should say. But you do throw the ball at someone to get an out, or you can tag the base or tag the runner. But it's all below the waist, and there's a halo around second base, and essentially it's set up for safety first, but fun is the number one quotient there. So kickball started last night, but today's a big day at the parks. We have several things going on. Today is the first day of Friday night Bandstand downtown tonight.
Oh.
And our local band, Bad Influence, will be playing tonight at the Bandstand, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That is sponsored by Fairfield Federal. They've been our longtime sponsor. They really kind of make these things happen. But we've got a great lineup for Friday night Bandstand going through August 17th.
What are some of the nights or some people playing?
So this week is Bad Influence. Next week is Grassline on June 8th. 3 Guys Live, and some of these people will be familiar to our viewers. They've been here before. The following week we have a bluegrass and a young lady from Nashville, a Callista. So Blue Steel with Callista will be there June 22nd. 3 Chords and a Beer the following week, and then Brad Puckett, who is a Garth Brooks tribute performance. Looks and sounds like Garth, does a great job, comes highly recommended, and we're happy to have him.
Now, these are all free. There's no charge for
All
these?
free. Set up your chairs on Broad Street and in front of the gazebo area, and the band will play. And there'll be some food vendors and other things going on, and downtown establishments are open to serve patrons. Just a great time downtown. But
Now, is there a website people can go to find these?
Yeah, they can find all this on the Lancaster Parks website. And in front of me, I've got the Parks program booklet. These are available at the Chamber of Commerce, the library, at our pools, at the Parks office, the police station, etc. But this essentially has everything going on at Lancaster Parks, from Friday night Bandstand to how to get a shelter house at Rising Park to when soccer starts and swimming and the pools. I would encourage anyone that's really interested in our programming to pick up one of these, and it tells you all these things. But LancasterParks.com has all of our programming on there, easy to access. But again, we go all the way through August 17th on Friday night Bandstand. But Mike, as I mentioned, today is a big day. Today our pool's open, both Tiki and Miller. And what I'd say about that, Miller was not scheduled to open to June 4th, but we're looking at the weather, and of course today it's kind of gloomy and there's a forecast of some rain. But
it's Muirfield week. That's why it's
yes,
going to rain.
Yep, the memorial's on, so it must be rain. But we are opening Miller and Tiki today. Also, today is the deadline for tennis in the parks, our camps for 6-year-olds through 18-year-olds who want to learn or improve their tennis skills. So if you want to get into one of our tennis camps, go to lancasterparks.com, get a registration, get it turned in. We will take a few people beyond this deadline, but there's a late fee attached to it after today. So a lot of things happening today. It's really a busy time for parks.
It was because you just started. I mean, you've only done this, what, a month? Has it been?
I started in mid-April, so it's a couple of months in, but it's been.
Was it? I mean, when you thought, "Oh yeah, I can do this," because you've been involved in softball for years and basketball and all those things. Was it kind of like?
It's a little, it's a little overwhelming. And I would tell you, Steve Conrad, the person I replaced, and I know he's been on this show, had things very well organized. He had some great programming in place. I've taken on a couple extra programming ideas like kickball, and we got a bowling camp coming up. A lot of things happening, but soccer was just starting. Soccer finished last week, so soccer season's up. Fall registrations are ongoing, and June 29th is deadline for soccer. But all these things, we have adult softball playing at Miller Park. They play Thursday nights.
Is that co-ed?
That is co-ed Thursday nights at Miller Park. So that's all going on now, and we're looking at a lot of new programming opportunities for next year and beyond. But yeah, it was a little bit like deer in the headlights, like a lot going on. But really exciting, and they're all fun programs that really, I think, enhance the quality of life for us living in Lancaster.
That's fantastic. I know that you've got a lot of things. How far in advance do you plan? I mean, you talked about June for fall soccer, and I mean, how much?
Yes, we have a lot of interest in our programming. So in order to get everything moving, we often have, like June 29th deadline, we play in August for fall soccer. So there's a couple of month leeway on most of these programs. Sometimes it's just a few weeks, like our tennis camp deadline is today, and the camp is starts June 11th. So sometimes it's a couple, but there's still a lot to do.
Sure, oh yeah.
Before the first racket's in hand and the first ball's hit over the net, there's things to do. Our tennis tournament's coming up, which is a Fairfield County tennis tournament. You know,
that's always a big event. That's always a huge event.
Interesting. You know, I've lived in Lancaster my entire life. I've my kids have grown up here. You know, except for 4 years in the Marine Corps, my entire life's been here. I was chief of police here for the city of Lancaster. Did you know Lancaster had 28 parks?
No.
Yeah, and I didn't either. I knew of probably 15 or so, and you probably could name 15 or so, but there are parks scattered throughout the city that are utilized by a lot of people that are small neighborhood parks. There's also a few park properties that aren't being utilized yet that have plans for the future. You know, just it's impressive the amount of park acreage the city has and the amount of opportunities we have from Alley Park to Keller Kern to our disc golf opportunities at two different disc golf courses at Keller Kern and Alley. And those disc golf courses are certified by the National Disc Golf Association, and I apologize for the acronym, but we can run a professional tournament on those courses. They're that nice. So really a lot going on.
Yeah, it's when again you're coming into it and new ideas. When you talked about, I know there's always things to do in the Lancaster Parks Department, but things you thought about that, boy, why don't we try this? Why don't we do this?
Yeah, and kickball was one of those ideas. So several new programming ideas are in the works for some this year. Kickball and a bowling camp coming up later, and you can get the bowling camp information at lancasterparks.com. That's in partnership with Tiki Bowling Lanes. It's a great opportunity for young bowlers to learn the sport. And fastest growing high school sport in the country.
I did not know that.
And I believe Berne Union's looking at adding a team.
Yeah.
So yes, programming opportunities that we have and that we're looking at, and I believe strongly we can make both of these new ideas. There's actually several, but the two big ones I'm looking at are sand volleyball. Looking at where we can place in our parks with with a couple of nice sand volleyball courts, and bring in a junior high league, a high school league, and an adult league to play on those courts next summer.
Right.
Also, we will be, and the plans are already in the works, for our 3-on-3 basketball league. Essentially, we will use our neighborhood parks to host regular season games, and then we'll finish. The idea is to finish downtown with a 3-on-3 tournament.
Like the old Gus Macker tournament?
Yeah, it won't be quite as large as Gus Macker. It'll be oriented towards, our local, but again, a junior high group,
Right.
a high school group, and possibly an adult group. Again, you might play it at Mary Burnham Park
Right.
for your regular season games, and then Utica Park and Elmwood and some of the other parks have. We replaced backboards this year. We replaced nets. We're getting ready for next year. We're doing some pavement replacement. Excited about the opportunity. And then the third programming idea that we're looking strongly at is a chess league. So essentially what we envision is an opportunity to teach some young people how to play chess and then allow them to compete in a tournament, which will end up downtown on our chess tables down on the square.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah, we're looking at opportunities for recreation other than athletic recreation.
Sure. That's, Chris Miller.
And I have Chris Miller in mind, although I have not spoken with him.
Yeah,
he's
a
as a
big
person
chess
who
player.
might help us organize such a league. And how do we exactly get where we want to go? The big thing is introducing young people to some new things that they haven't actually done before. And even if they have, getting them the opportunity to go out there and practice those skills and maybe compete a little bit.
Absolutely, that's great. Those are great ideas.
So we're pretty excited about it. Pretty excited.
That's neat. That's a lot of stuff. We were talking earlier about the parks. I was down at Miller Park the other day, and of course they're dragging diamonds. And talk a little bit just about the maintenance of the parks.
Our maintenance crew is absolutely impressive. So, what a lot of people don't know is everyone knows we got a soccer field, but they don't realize how many fields are out there, and the maintenance. And you have to mow grass, you have to paint lines, you have to put up nets and rebuild goals and keep that going. And soccer, we're opening our concession stand back up. It has not been open for several years.
That's a great idea.
The maintenance crew has redone it. It's ready to go for fall. But so we have to put a new roof on the maintenance or the concession stand, and we have to do all those things. But you're right, ball diamond maintenance. We've got, last night there were 12 diamonds with actual game activities. So you've got the Lancaster Girls Softball Association at Martins Park. You got Fairfield County, Lancaster Youth Baseball Association, I want to give them the right name here, at Miller. Mm-hmm. Both of those leagues are large enough they occasionally have to branch out to Mare Park and Mary Burnham Park to get all their games in. And the YMCA runs a T-ball league at Mary Burnham. And so all those diamonds are prepped daily for the number of games we have. So when they're lined, they're ready for a competition that evening. Right. But you imagine with all the parks we have, the amount of grass we've got to mow, the amount of fences we have to fix, the amount of paint we have to put in, the bathrooms we have to clean, the shelter houses we have to prep. Our maintenance crew is absolutely impressive. And Jim Thompson, the maintenance supervisor, he's got to manage all of this. Yeah. It's just they meet every morning, and he assigns activities, and it's just impressive.
Yeah. And in addition to everything that goes on in Lancaster, you also have clubs, softball teams, baseball, that are coming in to play here. In fact, there's one coming up pretty soon, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got actually at Martins Park tonight, we got 42 teams coming in to play. The LGSA is hosting a tournament. I want to give these guys their credit. Yeah. The Lancaster Girls Softball Association, through their tournament fundraising and the way they manage their money, every child from the age of 6 through 12 played free in the LGSA this year. There was no registration fee. What a great thing they've done. But the way they're able to do that is they host a couple of tournaments. I mentioned earlier when we were speaking before we got on camera here. There's 42 teams coming in. Several of those teams from out of state. They fill our hotels. They buy ice cream. Yeah. They eat out at night. They're finding activities like going to the movies and going to the drive-in and other things to do, going to Friday night bandstand. Just a big influx. And you'll see a bunch of young girls from the age of 9 through 18 with their uniforms on all over town this weekend. What an exciting weekend.
It is, and it's great for the city of Lancaster and in Fairfield County, too.
And I have to say, for the LGSA, this is a small tournament. 42 teams. They're typically in the neighborhood of 50 plus, up to 60 teams. They play at often using Miller. This weekend it's at Martin's and Mara Park, and Kiwanis Diamonds behind Talmadge Elementary.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So there's 8 diamonds going tonight. Typically, they might have 10 or 12 diamonds going on a weekend like this.
It's a lot. It's a lot of activity.
And then our parks maintenance people get that all ready for them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Pretty exciting.
There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. I know we talked a little bit about the number of parks and all those things. Just talk about some of the programs that are daily programs. And I mean,
So one thing we really haven't talked about yet is art, and I'll use my booklet because I think it's a great resource for anyone who really wants to know. Alley Park. The city of Lancaster was blessed with a gift from the Charles Alley family years ago, and we were able to open up this camp, or I should say this park, and have camps there for children. Everything from archery to overnight camps to survivor camp to, and I would just say Alley Park, if you haven't been there, and most kids have if you live anywhere near Lancaster, beautiful lodge out there, archery, spring break camp during spring break. We have they call it night camp, but it's night with a K. And essentially they have kids from 6 to 8 that have opportunities to go out there and enjoy the park. They'll hike, they'll picnic, they'll talk about medieval things, thus the night camp. Just go to our LancasterParks.com, check Alley Park out. If you want to get your children outdoors to learn skills about various things from identifying trees to those type of things, Alley Park's the place to be.
And you can rent Alley Park too.
Alley Park also available for rental. The main room is huge. I think it holds 135 people with tables and chairs and everything, and they'll set it up for you. Weddings, anniversaries, birthdays. Alley Park is constantly busy with these type of things.
I used to Frontier Players.
Yes.
I was part of that for
another
7 or 8
great
years.
thing at Alley Park, our pumpkin hike and Santa in the Park. Alley Park is a huge asset for our park system, and I can't say enough about the programs we have out there.
If people wanted to volunteer to help out, to contact you, or
you can contact me or Trina Thornton at Alley Park. She's always looking for volunteers, and there are so many great volunteers that know they know nature, and they can relate to our kids and teach them things that help them in the future.
there's a lot of activities going on. One of the things that, again, I was talking to people that told me were coming on. There's a levy. Is that a park levy? We still have a park levy?
Our park levy was renewed, and
That's
I
what-
apologize if I believe it was 2 years ago.
That's right.
So it's a 10-year levy.
Right.
And we have to thank the voters because they saw the need that we had, and these programs really wouldn't be available without that levy.
Yeah. I remember, because I'm pretty sure I was on the council at the time, and Dave Bogier was a superintendent, and we were talking about things that they couldn't do, and the money is well spent. I mean, they're not wasting any money, that's for sure.
So, one of those things that Lancaster residents can do is Rising Park shelter houses. They're rented free. The rental is actually a misnomer. You reserve them, and yes, there's a small cost to us for maintenance and upkeep, but the levy helps us pay for that. So, we have people waiting in line on January 1st, or the first day we're open after January 1st to reserve these shelter houses and have their family gatherings there.
I almost every time I walk through the park with my dog, that there's somebody in those shelter houses.
Yes,
there's always somebody there.
Shelter houses are packed, and we didn't even mention Olivedale Park, which is actually one of the actually the primary users of Olivedale are our senior center, Olivedale Senior Center. Art, music, swimming pool, trips that they coordinate together, dance lessons, crafts, games, sports. But Olivedale also has an opening or areas for. We have a new group out there, 35 and over, that are able to get aerobic, and we do seniors and everyone can do this. But we've opened up part of Olivedale to allow 35 and over groups to use the athletic training
Wow.
programs, I should say, and multi-purpose room there can be rented out.
Right.
You know, and we also have a shelter house behind Olivedale that can be used, first come first serve type for picnics, and it's a beautiful location out there along the bike path. I think Olivedale is an area people don't realize that it's open to everyone.
And they still do trips, don't they go on trips? And
Yeah, they do a
travel?
lot of
Okay.
trips, and what a great, I guess, place for seniors to get together, do a lot of things from square dancing to you name it. They're very active, and a lot of members out there, a lot of activities out there, a lot of trips. They do from day trips to vacation trips.
Well, and again, you're just in the initial stages of this new position or your new position. Is there anything that you looked at and said, why can't we do that? I mean, we talked about volleyball, and but is there anything you looked at and thought, geez?
Yeah, I think there's some programming over the years that other groups have hosted for the parks. So, flag football and some of these other things. A lot of attention's going to football, and football is I think the numbers would tell you it's America's favorite sport, at least on the professional level. But a lot of people are looking at younger children and whether they should be playing football or not, and that's really a parental decision.
Sure.
But with that said, it opens up opportunities for things like flag football and other programs. But also, I think there's some programming things that we do now that as I learn what we're doing, and again, I go back to Steve Conrad, building a great foundation. There's some things that that we can probably improve. We're allowing some younger children to participate in soccer this year for the first time.
Younger as in?
Instead of being, our age was 6 years old. We've now moved it to 5 years old, and we had a demand for that. Some children were leaving our community and going to Pickering to play soccer because we didn't allow 5-year-olds to play.
Gotcha.
And parents just wanted their kids to learn early.
Sure.
Essentially, any child that turns 5 next year during 2000, if they were born in 2014, they turn 5 during 2019. They can play fall soccer this year. So if you haven't signed your 4-year-old, soon to be 5-year-old up to play soccer, your opportunity now. Go to LancasterParks.com, get a registration form, and get your child playing soccer.
Now, a lot of the programs, do you need coaches for these programs?
Always need coaches. All the programs from kickball. Kickball, it's really a manager, a team captain type thing. Soccer, we need coaches for all divisions. So if you want to coach your child, there's a good chance you'll be able to.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Or assistant coaches. Every coach needs an assistant coach. So again, a lot of opportunities.
Have you gotten any calls from people and said, why don't you do this?
Oh, yes.
So-and-so does this.
And we are open to all these programming ideas. There's a lot of logistical things that go into place to starting a new program. Kickball is an example of starting a program from scratch with the credit to Lancaster Live, but we still had to build it on our side. Acquire equipment, build our teams, get our T-shirts, get our schedules, get our fields laid out. But none of that stuff is difficult. We just have to make the time to make things happen. So we're really excited. Mike Tharp, our superintendent, he is open to these new ideas and has been really supportive of the programs I presented to him. Just the whole Parks Department is a get-it-done type group.
Yeah, that's great. And there's been, over the years, have some great people. Nettie Morris was there before.
Yes,
Steve Conrad.
Great foundation. And again, Steve, I look at what he did, and I've picked that up. It's like, how in the world did he ever do all this stuff? But there is a lot of help. There's a lot of help at the Parks Department.
Yeah, that's going into the future. I know you've got a lot of things that you've planned. Anything that looks as a roadblock, like, gee, we got to get through this.
One of the, I won't call it a roadblock. One of the areas of interest for me is, I didn't mention this, but I also manage the swimming pools. And again, we opened today. I mentioned that we were opening, but we hired 42 employees for the pools. That's lifeguards and cashiers to run the concession stand. But Miller Pool is a project. I grew up in Lancaster. Miller Pool was the only pool we had available when I was a kid. Tiki was still a private pool, and it was given to the city, and it's a great asset for us. But Miller, we've done significant improvement at Miller, and my project is to get our residents to realize Miller is improved. A lot of things happening there. We got shade canopies there this year. It was kind of, you're out there on the concrete with no shade. We've added 2 this year. We're going to add a 3rd next year. We have sitting at the state for approval is our climbing wall for that pool.
Oh, that's
that will
great.
allow you to climb the wall and jump down into the pool. And but I want to mention a project that I took on this year. I went to Chief Pilar at the police department with an idea, and it's an idea that I had and presented to Superintendent Tharp. Went to him and said, I'd like to do something special at Miller Pool. So on June 23rd at 7 p.m., we will open the pool for swimming that evening. And with chief sponsorship from the DARE program, we're going to play the movie Early Man about 8:30 when it gets dark enough. There obviously is a cost for that. It's $5 to get in for all the swimming at Miller Pool. Come to Miller Pool, enjoy Lancaster's pool, and watch a movie. Destination Downtown will provide popcorn for free. Concessions will be open. Again, a great time for a family.
That's fantastic, and thanks to Adam Pilar and the police department.
Great, and and I want to mention real quickly Destination Downtown for the screen that they're providing. Family, Adult, and Children First Council and Friends of the Park. All these entities coming together made this night happen. And June 23rd, Miller Park. Get your tickets now.
And that'll be on the website too. Right?
That's on the website.
Okay. We're almost out of time. It's been great having you here, and good luck with the new position, and they couldn't have picked somebody better to do this.
Thanks for having me, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.